Ever since I moved into this apartment, I've been slowly rebuilding my entire home office. Everything has been updated, except this closet. This time I didn't want anything crazy or overcomplicated. I just wanted a space that matched the rest of the setup, where I could store my gear, but most importantly, I wanted a space I could dedicate to 3D printing. So the idea was simple. Turn this forgotten closet into a creative hub, part workshop, part storage, that actually makes sense for how I work. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how I did it. The very first step was emptying everything out so I could start fresh. And honestly, I don't know who worked on this closet before me, but they really didn't care. There were holes everywhere. I ended up filling more than 30 holes with wall putty, sanding everything down and giving the walls a proper clean. Before touching any paint, I actually took all the measurements for the middle and top shelves. That way I could drill everything I needed before painting and avoid damaging the walls later on. Once that was done, I painted the entire closet white. I did 2 full coats, waited until the next day, and finally it looked brand new again. That alone already made a huge difference. Once the closet was finally restored and painted, it was time to move on the most important part of the whole project, building the structure. Everything in this closet was going to be built around one key element, the main shelf that would hold both machines. So getting the measurements right from the start was crucial. This is where some of the tools from FANTTIK came into play. They're also sponsoring this section of the video, and I'll leave a discount code in the description if you want to check them out. To decide the exact height of the shelf, I used the FANTTIK laser level to mark everything perfectly straight. I relied on it not just to mount the shelves, but also to install the SCADI's pegboard. The F2 Master rotary tool quickly became one of my favorites, especially paired with 3D printing. I used it to drill through prints effortlessly, clean up rough edges, sand and polish surfaces, and carve small details, all thanks to the huge variety of heads it comes with. Another one that surprised me was the B10 Pro Max electric air duster. During the build, I used it to clean sawdust off my circular saw, the floor, and even my keyboard in seconds. There's something really satisfying about having a portable air duster like this, and I'm already thinking about bringing it with me the next time I wash my car, just to see how it performs for drying. And finally, the S1 Pro cordless electric screwdriver. I use it to tighten screws all around the office, mount accessories, and speed up all these small tasks that would normally take way longer by hand. All of these tools made the build smoother, faster, and way more enjoyable. If you're curious about any of the FANTTIK tools you saw here, you'll find all the links in the description below. Going back to the project, I wanted the structure to stay clean and minimal, so I went for a simple alcove-style shelf. I installed wooden slats across the entire perimeter of the closet, all at the same height, creating a solid base for the tabletop. The hardest part of this whole build was definitely cutting the wooden board to fit perfectly inside the closet. I used the tools ahead, took my time, and somehow managed to get a really tight, clean fit. One thing that had been bothering me since day one was the color of the closet frame. Because this isn't my apartment, I couldn't replace them or paint them directly, and leaving them like that would completely break the aesthetic. So I went for the best alternative I had: vinyl wrap. Now, I'm not a professional at all, and I won't lie, this part was slow, tedious, and honestly, a bit frustrating. Some corners didn't come out perfect, especially the tighter angles. But once everything was in place, the difference was huge. It blended way better with the rest of the setup, and for something temporary, I'm actually really happy with the results. At this point, I still didn't have the full plan for the rest of the closet, so I decided to start unboxing the machines. And before that, I want to say a huge thank you to Creality for sending both of them. First up, the Falcon A1 laser engraver. This is completely new territory for me. I'll be honest, I don't even fully know what I'm going to create with it yet, but just having a laser engraver in my office feels insanely cool. The setup is super simple since it comes already assembled. You basically take it out of the box, connect the cables, and you're ready to go. You can engrave text, designs, or images on materials like wood, metal, glass, acrylic, and more. And on top of that, you can also cut materials like wood and acrylic. Because it uses a laser beam, it obviously creates a lot of smoke. On the back there's a built-in exhaust system, plus cooling fans on the laser head to help extract smoke during use. Ideally, you'd route the exhaust straight out of the window, but my window is pretty far and I didn't want tubes running across my office. So for now, I'm redirecting the air towards my air purifier. It's not the perfect solution, but it's working well for me. And now, finally, it was time to unbox my new 3D printer. Creality sent over the K2 enclosed 3D printer together with one CFS. Now you might be wondering where my other 3D printer went. At the moment I had to place it elsewhere in the house, simply because I don't have enough space here to host everything. But I'm definitely not getting rid of it. 2 printers are always better than one. The K2 comes almost ready to use. You just remove the few screws, do a quick setup, and you're basically good to go. The CFS is another highlight. As soon as you feed the filament into the tube, it automatically starts loading it. And thanks to the tags inside the filament holder, the printer instantly recognizes which filaments you're using. I highly recommend getting the CFS if you're serious about 3D printing. Not just because you can print in up to 4 different colors, which isn't even my main use case, but because once a spool runs out, the printer automatically switches and keeps printing using the same color. That means fewer failed prints and way less filament wasted. To keep everything clean and organized in this new workspace, I installed another SCADI backboard, mainly because of how flexible it is for organizing tools and accessories. And for the very first print, I went straight for something useful. I printed a filament holder for the SCADI backboard. I downloaded the model from MakerWord, which is usually my go-to for 3D prints, and it only needed 2 wooden dowels to mount. Once both machines were finally up and running, I moved on to finishing the lower part of the closet structure. At first, I didn't have a clear plan for how to organize it, but while using the printer, I started noticing how the tabletop was shaking slightly during prints. So instead of ignoring it, I decided to fix the problem. To make the surface more rigid and eliminate vibrations, I installed a vertical wooden panel right in the middle of the shelf. This single panel ended up doing 2 really important things. First, it added a lot more stability to the structure, making the tabletop way more solid for printing. And second, it naturally divided the closet into 2 separate sections. That gave me the opportunity to turn the left side into a more organized storage area, where I later added 2 smaller alcove shelves to store boxes, accessories, and all the random stuff that usually has no place. I intentionally left the right side completely untouched. That way I still have enough vertical space to store taller items like my bigger tripod, slider, and backpacks without forcing them into awkward positions. To keep everything properly lit inside the closet, there was one last thing I needed to add: a custom softbox. I had already built a similar one a few months ago when I worked on my coffee corner, so I used that experience to create one specifically for this space. For the main structure, I used wooden slats. On the inside, I applied aluminum tape to help reflect and enhance the light once the LED strip was installed. To connect everything together, I used 3D printed angle corners, which made the whole structure lighter and easier to assemble. Attaching the softbox to the bottom of the upper shelf was the trickiest part. Once the fabric was in place, access to the inside of the structure was basically blocked. That meant I couldn't screw anything from the inside, and drilling from the outside wasn't an option either. The only real solution was to make the whole thing removable. That's why I decided to use magnets. And I have to give credit once again to Matthew and Sina for the idea. After a quick trip to Leroy Merlin, I picked up a set of magnetic door closures. I attached one to each corner of the softbox structure and then fixed the metal plates to the bottom of the shelf. Once that was done, the softbox snapped perfectly into place. After testing that everything was holding securely, I attached the softbox fabric. One thing I definitely recommend is thinking ahead about where the LED cable is going to exit. In my case, I wanted it completely hidden, so I planned that from the start through one corner. What I didn't account for initially was leaving enough space for the cable to pass between the softbox and the shelf. Because the whole structure is magnet mounted, the fix was simple. I just stacked a couple of neodymium magnets on each corner to create a small gap, and the problem was solved instantly. Next, cable management. I wanted this workshop to look as clean as possible, so I keep things simple. I used a few cable guides to keep everything neatly routed, and an under-desk cable tray I already had to hide most of the mess. For power, I used a surge protector as the main extension, and that's pretty much it. You might be wondering why I decided to remove the doors. Without them, the space feels much bigger and I actually gain more usable room. It also speeds up my workflow. I can grab what I need instantly without opening anything or guessing where it is. After using this space for almost a month now, I've already ended up printing quite a few custom pieces to refine it even more. Things like the FANTTIK S1 Pro holder that I designed myself, a custom Edelchrome slider holder, and all these Cadiz mounts for my 3D printing tools. If you're interested, you can find all of them linked in the description. And with that said, I really hope this video inspired you to build your own workshop. If you're new to 3D printing, I hope this gets you curious enough to try it, because it's honestly one of the most rewarding hobbies out there. There's something incredibly empowering about turning ideas into real physical objects. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.